think it was Men at Work. For the second record, yeah. I had a kid in school with me, had tickets, and he asked me if I wanted to go. So that was my first concert. My first metal concert was Dio Last in Line tour with
Twisted Sister. Mine was with Twisted. That was my first metal concert was Dio. And I think it was Twisted Sister.
Mine wasn't with Twisted Sister, it was with Dokken, I think. I think it was Dio and Dokken, I think. But it was definitely the Last in Line tour.
I think Blondie was the first, the actual first vinyl I think I bought when I was a kid. As far as metal goes, oh man. Because there's been so much of that, it's hard to remember that one. Yeah. AC/DC, I know I got a lot of AC/DC, Van Halen back in the day. It's like first rock kind of stuff, you know. Obviously Dio was probably one of the earlier ones.
Definitely. I think I used to like be into soundtracks when I was a kid. So like I had like I would get cassettes of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like movie soundtrack, Star Wars soundtrack.
Oh yeah, we get all the soundtracks.
Like
from those
they had like there was like that. Remember that weird kind of Star Wars
one? Yeah, it was disco Star Wars.
Miko or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember it was like
disco,
like
and
disco Star
Wars. They had a whole
Wars.
album just of Star Wars music, but like disco like, and it was like I'll never forget that.
I had that. Grease. That was like one of my first. Grease. I fucking loved that shit when I was a
Grease
kid.
Lightning.
And then when I got older, like some of the first like cassettes I bought back then, like that were non like soundtrack stuff was like Queen, The Game, Another One Bites the Dust, and all that stuff on it, and Pink Floyd, The Wall. I had that on cassette. Like it was like I think a double cassette. I think. So those were like the first albums that I remember buying, like in younger years when I was young, that I actually bought. And then later on, like Bob said, it was probably stuff like, Pyromania, Def Leppard, and then Dio and Maiden stuff, like Maiden stuff, yeah. Because Maiden, like when I first saw like the artwork on some of those Maiden covers, because back then it was only vinyl. So you'd go into a place like Crazy Eddie, which was like an electronics store.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember Crazy Eddie, right? But you went in there and they had like
before he went to jail.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Fraud, all
fail. But anyway, you'd go in there and they had like a sick vinyl department, and you actually would go in there and they'd have metal shit. So you'd see like whatever, like first Maiden album, there'd be like a whole shit ton of them. Then they'd have like, I remember they'd have like Merciful Fate, see like Melissa and Don't Break the Oath and all this vinyl shit that was just out, it was like sick. So anyways, but those were the ones, probably the first ones I got that I can remember,
Gotta be like Smoke on the Water.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the first ones.
Yeah, totally.
Guitar, when you're learning guitar, it's the easiest thing to play,
That was for me too.
And it's classic, it sounds great, and it's easy. So like I'll never forget one of the guys on my block showed that to me. And yeah, that's definitely I think the first riff I learned.
Did you play guitar before you played bass?
No, played bass. I had a close friend at the time, Francis, and he had a bass and he played bass and he was much better than me. He had been playing for a little bit longer than me, and I remember just going over to his house and I was like, oh, sick. And I didn't even really know the difference between a bass and a guitar at that point. I was like, oh, that's sick.
Like I get the 4-string guitar.
So he would just show me stuff, and once he showed me how to play Smoke on the Water. Oh, and You Can't Stop Rock and Roll by Twisted Sister. That. And there were a couple other things, real simple shit that he showed me. And then like once I started like learning how to play a little bit better, it was like shit, But then we would try to like learn some Maiden stuff. Like I remember it was a big deal. Like he learned how to play the beginning of Killers because like to play the a couple of strings at the same time was like wow, So he's like, yo, dude, check this out, and he showed me how to play that, and I was like, I thought I was a superstar. I was like, wow, I can play the beginning part of Killers. It was so cool.
might be a few of them actually.
Let's hear it.
There's a lot.
I can't remember. I mean, it's just that there's certain songs, I guess, that work better live than others. So, not that we don't like playing them. It's just like, some are just too much for the live venue. You know what I mean? At least
Quirky,
it feels
yeah.
that way. The quirky ones. So we always, we try and stick with stuff that we know over the years has gone over well and is easy to digest live. You know what I mean? So, so there's a few songs.
Anything prior to the new record.
Yeah.
Alex Webster is just a phenomenal bass player. One of the best in my opinion. Such a humble dude, but just such a fucking monster on the bass. Inspiring as fuck, man. Just awesome. Mikey from Origin is another fucking amazing bass player. Like just sick bass player. And I'd have to say for me, I have to mention Steve Harris at the top of that list because he was the guy that really kind of inspired me and got me into playing bass, because that was the first stuff that I really kind of started to analyze. And, all of Maiden's stuff is so bass heavy. It's easy to kind of follow the bass and understand what he's doing, And I just love his playing, He was just fucking sick player, man. So Harris would be the guy that kind of got me into playing, and in our scene, Webster, Mikey. I mean, there's a fucking million great players, who are just when I watch, I'm just like, oh, win, just fucking throw my bass away, But they're both Mikey and Alex are just such fucking great players and just such humble dudes, and just fucking just dudes you watch and like, oh fuck, man.
Barney from Nate Tom Death, because he plays his instruments, the mic, and that guy, he goes for it.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
Yeah.